Stop. Let go. A voice, almost a scream, followed. Rushing towards the voice, I saw a woman, no, a girl, being held by her arm by someone in a black tracksuit. On closer inspection, she's wearing a school uniform. Hey, knock it off. I ran towards the two, forcefully making him let go of the high school girl. He clicked his tongue and ran away. Though the girl was saved, I ended up being really late for an important meeting. A few days later, when I went to the office, I was summoned to the CEO's office. Bob, I'm thinking of sending you to one of our regional offices starting tomorrow. Even though I was late because I helped someone, the company was going to penalize me. Is this a demotion? Well, you can take it that way if you want. We can't have problematic employees here at the headquarters. You understand, right? With that said, I gave my brightest smile. It's perfect, thank you. You can fire me instead of demoting me. What? My words left the CEO in utter shock. My name is Bob. I work at a medical device manufacturer. Ever since I was in elementary school, after my father passed away from illness, I was raised in a single-mother household. I wanted to help people like my father, even though I had the grades to go to medical school. Due to financial constraints, I devoted myself to studying and extracurricular activities. I decided to work right after high school. Although I couldn't be a doctor, I was determined to be involved in the medical field and focused on job hunting there. Getting a job in the medical industry with only a high school diploma was challenging. My first choice was a well-known local medical device manufacturer called Johnson Manufacturing, but I ended up at another medical device manufacturer that had dealings with them. It wasn't Johnson Manufacturing, but it was a reasonably sized company, and I was honestly thrilled to have landed a job in the medical industry, which was my dream. Bob, I got an offer from Johnson Manufacturing. I'll never forget the look on Mike's face as he ran up to tell me that. I had a classmate named Mike. Like me, he grew up in a single-mother household and, after high school, aimed to work in the medical field, so we job hunted together. At that time, Mike got a job at Johnson Manufacturing, which I had always admired. Really, good for you. I said that to Mike, but deep down, I felt a pang of jealousy. When I was getting rejection notices, Mike was getting job offers. I felt like I couldn't compete with him, but deep inside, I wanted to surpass him someday. 3 years flew by since I joined the company straight out of high school. I got the hang of my job around this time, and a guy named Jake became the manager of my department. Manager Jake, who joined right after college, was decent at his job, and people, both in and outside the company, spoke highly of him, but behind the scenes, he looked down on me for coming from a single-parent household and not having a college degree. Hey, do you really think Bob, a high school grad from a single mom's home, can handle such an important task? Jake would say this so often, and he'd whisper so only I could hear. It was very annoying. Although it's true that I came from such a background and didn't go to college, I never retorted. But Jake seemed to take my silence as consent, belittling me daily. I tried not to let it bother me, but enduring it day after day was stressful. One evening, I decided to invite Mike out for drinks. At our usual bar, while I was venting about Jake and our company, Mike just quietly sipped his drink. Despite being with the company for the same amount of time as me, Mike had already become the youngest department head in Johnson Manufacturing's history. The company had a strong focus on nurturing young talents. I envied him, seeing how we both had similar backgrounds, but he had climbed the corporate ladder so much faster just because he joined a different company. Man, you are so lucky, becoming a department head, I said, a bit drunk. Mike replied. Bob, do you realize how much time you waste by just talking and complaining? What? Instead of doing this, you should focus on your work and act. That's how I got where I am. I plan on climbing even higher." With that, Mike grabbed the bill and left the bar. I muttered, "What's with him?" However, I knew what Mike said was true. Even as I complain like this, time continues to march on. He probably spent these kinds of moments thinking about work. This made me think, I need to step up my game if I want to move up too. But I felt something was off about Mike's demeanor. Back in high school, when we were job hunting, he had this genuine spark in his eyes. We used to motivate each other by saying, "Let's give it our all, no matter what happens." Now, there was a slightly intimidating aura about him. One day, I was heading to the office. We had a big meeting lined up with a potential client introduced to us by one of our trusted partners. Everyone in the department was excited, along with the CEO, thinking that they might be able to gain a new business partner. The team for this meeting was me, Manager Jake, and our CEO. As I walked, I suddenly heard a woman's voice from a nearby alley shouting, "Let go of me." Then, a voice that almost screamed, "Let go," continued. I rushed towards the voice and found a man in a black tracksuit grabbing a girl's arm. On closer inspection, she was in a school uniform. "Come on." "No, let me go." "Hey, stop it." I sprinted over and pulled the girl away from him. The guy clicked his tongue in annoyance and ran away. I was more concerned about the girl than chasing him. "Thank you so much for helping me." Looking at her, I realized she wore the uniform of a prestigious local school. "Are you okay?" "Yes, I was just walking when he suddenly grabbed me. I don't know how to thank you." I continued to reassure the visibly shaken girl. After calming her down, I suggested she call someone trustworthy to pick her up. She said, "My ride will be here soon." When I told her, "I'll stay with you until they come," she looked relieved. We then headed to the main street, and while chatting, her cell phone's notification sound rang out. Seems like the person picking her up was nearby. Well, I thought of heading to work, but then she said, "I really want to thank you. Can we exchange contact information? Please, you helped me so much. I really want to thank you properly." But well, honestly, the idea of me, a grown man, exchanging numbers with a high school girl felt a bit odd. Besides, getting thanked by a high school girl for, I hesitated, but as I had to get to work, I decided to just hand her my business card. "Here's my card, but seriously, don't worry about today." "Wait, this company is. Anyway, gotta go." I hurriedly left the scene. Of course, by the time I got to work, I was extremely late and was ready to be scolded. When I arrived, the CEO and Jake were talking. The moment they saw me, "Bob, why are you late on such an important day?" Jake yelled. "I had some circumstances. I'm truly sorry." I bowed, but the CEO looked troubled. "Bob, since Jake and I will handle things today, you should head home." "But why? Do you really expect us to trust someone who's late on such an important day? Just go home. Be ready to lose your job." I mean, yes, I was late, but, Bob, please think about your actions for a bit. Getting yelled at by a red-faced Jake, I handed over the business documents I'd prepared to them and just left the company. I might be fired at this rate. From my point of view, I'd simply done what any decent person would. However, to the CEO and Jake, who didn't know the circumstances, I was just some guy who came in late. Even if I explained in detail, I wasn't sure they'd believe me. The fact that I'd been punctual without any absences up until now might have made this tardiness especially significant in the CEO's eyes. Lost in my thoughts at home, my work phone rang. The incoming number wasn't registered, but thinking it might be work-related, I answered. "Hello, Bob speaking." "Is this Bob? I'm the girl you helped earlier." I recognized the sweet voice and immediately thought of the high school girl. Oh, from earlier. Thank you so much for helping me earlier. No worries. Did you get home safely? Yes, I met up with the person picking me up soon after and got home safely. That's good. Just be careful, okay? As I was about to end the call. Wait, are you at your office right now? No, I'm at home. Then, I'd really like to come over to thank you. She sounded enthusiastic. Really, it's okay. I just did what anyone would have. But then she said, my dad really wants to thank you in person. Your dad. If it's all right, may we come to your place right now? Although I hesitated, it seemed like if her dad was insisting, refusing further might just be a never-ending cycle. So I agreed. After sharing my address and ending the call, about an hour later, my doorbell rang. Opening the door, I found a middle-aged man in a black suit. I thought for sure that the high school girl was there, so I said in a stupid voice, "Huh? Are you Bob?" "Yes, that's me." "Please wait while I call for her and the CEO," he said as he opened the door to the back seat of a high-class black car that you would never see in a residential area around here. The high school girl and a dignified-looking man in a suit stepped out. Just the man's presence changed the atmosphere, making me instinctively straighten up. Where have I seen this man before? I invited them in, saying, "Please come in." Feeling glad I'd spent an hour cleaning, I served them some coffee. "Bob, I'm sorry for the sudden visit." "It's fine. I just didn't expect you'd come all the way here. My dad really wanted to thank you." She looked at the man beside her. "I knew it. He's her father." "Thank you for helping my daughter. I'm truly grateful." The man bowed. "No, I'm glad that your daughter is safe. I never imagined my daughter would be targeted. I'm sorry for the trouble." A man suddenly handed me his business card. When I took it and looked, my eyes widened and I let out a surprised, "Huh?" On it was a name I hadn't expected at all. The next day, as soon as I got to work, I was called into the CEO's office. As I approached, to my surprise, Jake was with the CEO. Then, the CEO told me I was being transferred to a regional sales branch. "Bob, starting tomorrow, I'm thinking of having you go to the regional branch." "CEO, is this a demotion?" "Well, you can take it that way if you want. We can't keep problematic employees at the headquarters, please understand." Hearing those words, I flashed my brightest smile. "That's perfect, thank you. Instead of a demotion, you can just fire me." "What?" The CEO's eyes went wide at my words. Smiling, I took an envelope out of my bag. "Actually, I've been thinking of resigning. Here's my resignation letter." "Resigning?" "Yes, I've already secured my next job." "Where are you?" Before he could finish, I interrupted. "There's someone here who'd like to meet the CEO." I then opened the door and let the person in. CEO and Jake were once again in shock. "Mr. Johnson." Yes, this man was the CEO of Johnson Manufacturing. The high school girl I helped yesterday turned out to be Lisa, the only daughter of the CEO of Johnson Manufacturing, whom I had always admired. He came to express his gratitude directly. Even though Lisa is still in high school, she's in line to be the next CEO of Johnson Manufacturing. So he was truly grateful that I helped his only daughter and future CEO, Lisa. He thanked me several times. "My daughter showed me your business card, and when I saw the company name, it seemed familiar. I'd like to expand our business with the company you're working for. Of course, I'd specifically like you to be in charge." "I appreciate the offer, but the thing is..." I then recounted the events of today, explaining that I might get fired. After hearing this, CEO Johnson asked if I could accompany him to the company the next day. "I heard you're thinking of letting such a great employee go. What on earth are you thinking? That's why I brought him with me today." Neither the CEO nor Jake could keep their mouths shut at the appearance of CEO Johnson, whom they had not expected. But this Bob has shown poor professionalism, and just the other day he was late. That's why we were thinking of this relocation. He was late yesterday because he was helping my daughter when she was in trouble. But what about his alleged poor professionalism? Well, he tends to slack off and supposedly takes credit for others' work. Did you see this yourself? No, Jake reported it to me, right? The CEO glanced at Jake, who shifted uncomfortably, murmuring, "Well, you see. Do you really believe he'd act like that?" No, Bob has always been a hard-working guy since he joined. Then why judge him this way and plan to demote him? You were thinking of relocating Bob based solely on hearsay. The CEO squirmed, clearly uncomfortable. CEO Johnson sighed. It's unfortunate Bob isn't being evaluated fairly. If this is how you feel, I think he'd be a good fit at our headquarters. And so, I left my old job and began working at Johnson Manufacturing, a place I had always admired. Lisa was thrilled, and Mike gave me a friendly challenge. You won't outdo me. There's a significant difference in scale and staffing between my old job and Johnson Manufacturing, so I knew I had to give it my all to keep up. Every day was a grind. A few months later, the guy who assaulted me got arrested. Lisa called out to me. Really? Who was he? Some 20-year-old guy I've never met. You don't know him? No, I saw the photos, but I've never seen that person before. The police also seemed to suggest that the culprit was just following orders from someone. Someone? Who could it be? He said he got the job offer in DM after posting on social media about being willing to do anything for money. He's never met the person who gave him the instructions, and they only communicated via social media. That means there's a mastermind behind the attack on Lisa. I wondered if it might have been a rival company, but I couldn't come up with anyone like that. Time flew by, and both Mike and I continued to work at Johnson Manufacturing. I got promoted and became a department head. Meanwhile, Mike made even bigger strides, becoming an executive. Ever since I started here, I've been amazed at Mike's capabilities. The CEO has always been fond of Mike's work and intelligence. Now, Mike has become something of a right-hand man to the CEO. I also strive to keep up with him, working hard every day. Lisa graduated from high school and enrolled in a state university. She's now in her senior year. She's set to join Johnson Manufacturing next year and has told us about her determination to work hard. For now, she's enjoying her final year in college. In fact, Lisa and I have become quite close. Once she started coming to the office, we naturally began to interact more, and it didn't take long for us to get along well. Of course, we started dating after she graduated high school. I was thinking how great it would be if I could support her in both her personal and professional life. But then one day, I got a call saying Lisa had been attacked again. During the attack, Lisa fought back fiercely. In the process, she was pushed by the assailant, fell, and broke her arm. But the noise drew attention, and the attacker was arrested on the spot. To my shock, the perpetrator turned out to be Jake. My previous company, which I had left, had gained a bad reputation for the CEO's misjudgments and had lost many of its clients. Though not bankrupt, the company had significantly downsized. Jake was laid off, blamed for the company's declining reputation. He was struggling to make ends meet with odd jobs. Then, someone handed him a bundle of cash and asked him to attack someone. He was told that if he succeeded, he might even get a job at Johnson Manufacturing. So, he attacked Lisa. Soon after this revelation, a cop appeared in front of Mike and me. "Mike, we'd like you to come to the station with us." Mike went with the police and didn't come back. That day, Mike was arrested. It turns out that Mike was the one who told Jake to attack Lisa. and the one who had previously asked him to attack Lisa in a back alley. "I really wanted to become the CEO of Johnson Manufacturing," he said. "Why did you do it?" I asked when I visited him. "If you become CEO, you'll get a lot of money, right?" Mike's family ran a small business. His father had fallen ill and couldn't get proper treatment because they didn't have enough money. I remembered Mike lamenting this over drinks once. If she was out of the picture, I could have become the CEO. And it's true. If Lisa hadn't been set to take over, Mike would have been the most likely candidate. He was that good. "With more money, I could have everything," he said with a smirk. I couldn't feel sympathy for the man in front of me, having done what he did for such selfish reasons. I never saw Mike again after that visit. A few years later, Lisa became CEO, and I currently work as an executive. With Lisa's youthful ideas, Johnson Manufacturing has grown as a bigger medical device company. Our sales are skyrocketing, and the company is thriving. Lisa and I got married and now have 3 children. We're living a truly happy life, with both our work and home life going smoothly. Even now, I always think about how things could have been different if Mike hadn't gone down that path. But he made his choices. He had plenty of time to rethink them. But I'll never forgive him for hurting Lisa for his own desires. Every time I see Lisa smile, I'm genuinely grateful she's safe. I feel it's my duty to mentor my subordinates and children so they never make choices like Mike did. I hope they'll grow up to help those in need. Who knows, they might have a dramatic turn in their life, just like mine.